Hi Year 6, this is your intelligent practice and dive deeper video to help you when you are finding equivalents between fractions, decimals and percentages. So I'm just going to talk through it very quickly. The answers are on the slides, but please make sure you don't look at those before you've actually completed the task, and make sure that you've also marked your work before you send it to your teacher. It just gives us a chance to check where your errors are and help you in specific areas rather than having to mark the whole piece. So your first thing to do is you have to match up the equivalent fractions, decimals and percentages. Okay, so you can literally just write those down and you need to match them up, and you might want to tick them off as you do. Your next job is you are finding fraction, decimal and percentage equivalents. So if you know that the decimal is 0.21, you should be able to work out the percentage, and you should be able to work out the decimal because it's going to be over 100, isn't it? Okay, because it's 2 decimal places, so it's going to be over 100. And again, 12%, you can work out the decimal, it's going to be 2 decimal places, and your fraction is going to be over 100, and so on. So have a go at filling out this grid. Your famous fractions are on there, so be really careful, and don't get tricked out with the 4%. Okay, just remember that 4% means it has 2 decimal places, but it is not 0.4. Okay, it needs to have 2 decimal places and the number must be a 4. Okay, so the 4 is going to go here and your placeholder here. Just be really careful with that one, and remember it's 2 decimal places, so it's going to be over 100. Next one, which is the odd one out, and why. Okay, so what I would do is I would convert them and make them so that they are all the same. Make them so they are all either decimals, percentages or fractions, and you should be able to see which one's the odd one out. When you're moving up here to this task, you are using obviously the more than and less than and the equal signs. You have got a decimal and you've got a percentage. Can I suggest that you have a go at maybe changing them so they are both the same? So change them so that that one's decimal and that one's decimal. Some of them you'll be able to do in your head, which is absolutely fine. Others you will not. For example, this one, just be really careful, and this one, be really careful here as well. So I would just make sure that you are aware of what that is as a decimal, and how the decimals work. Remember, if you've got let's for example say if you've got 0.3 and you've got 0.32, okay, you can make this have 2 decimal places so that it's really easy to see which one is bigger. Obviously 0.32 is bigger there, okay? So just be really careful when you're doing that. Next one, Amir is asked to complete the statement using more and less than and an equal sign, or greater and less than. He says 14% is bigger than 0.4, so 14 is greater than 4. What mistake has Amir made? Okay, so you need to explain that, show you working out, and actually have a go at answering this part of the question. And then your last bit is, which of these are equivalent to 60%? So which of these fractions and decimals are exactly the same as 60%? So I would have a go at changing them all into percentages so that you are able to see which ones are the same as 60%. With these ones, remember you're going to have to change the denominator so that they become 10 or 100 to make that easier. After that is your dive deeper. Like I've said in all my other videos, please have a go at the dive deeper. Some of you have decided that you're not going to do that. The dive deeper gives you a chance to apply the skills that you've learned, so they are absolutely vital. So 2/5 of the class cycle to school, 0.5 of the class walk to school, and the rest travel by car. What percent of the class travel by car? So you're looking at doing 2/5 add 0.5. So I would make them both the same. So you can either make them both into fractions or you can make them both into decimals. That is completely up to you. Okay, so find out what your answer is, and then you need to think about what is left over and change that into a percentage. So if it was 2/5, I would change them both into decimals. Well, I know that 2/5 is the same as 4/10, which is the same as 0.4. So 0.4 add 0.5 equals, and you should have that in your head, and then you should be able to work out what is left. So when you get your answer here, you need to work out what is left to get you to a whole, and then change that decimal into a percentage. Akib scored 32 out of 80, so write that as a fraction. Okay, write it out, 32 out of 80. Okay, don't ever leave them in words. You need to be able to have that visualization of what you're doing. So 32 out of 80 on a test. On his next test, there was more questions and he scored 40%. Did he improve his score? Okay, so it's asking you to compare 32/80ths and 40%. So I would have a go at changing 32/80ths into 40%. Can you simplify it? Can you change the denominator so it can become 10 or 100? Jamie says that to convert a decimal to a percentage, all you have to do is remove the 0 point and add a percent to the end. For example, 0.43 is 43%, 0.4 is 4%, and 0.125 is 125%. Explain Jamie's mistakes. So he's got quite a lot of mistakes there, hasn't he? I would go back in the videos, maybe go back to the guided video. How do you convert between decimals and percentages? Remember, percentage means out of 100, so it means 2 decimal places. And have a go at writing maybe a success criteria and explaining those mistakes really, really clearly. The answers are on the slides, as they always are, so make sure that you give those a mark before you send them in to your teacher, just so that we're able to see where you've gone wrong and what mistakes you've made. Make sure that if you do get any of them wrong, have another go. And remember, you can always ask a parent in your household to help you as well. The videos are not just for yourselves. If your parent wants to watch the videos, they are more than welcome, as sometimes adults have different ways of doing things. But good luck, have fun, and hopefully we will all be seeing each other very soon.